it's me, Jessica. I just read this amazing new storybook called Harry and Horsey. It's all about a little boy and his best friend Horsey, who's really cute. I loved him so much, I decided to make my own. And today, I'm going to show you how you can make your own Horsey too. So you need a pair of work socks, scissors, 2 sizes of buttons, 2 colors of thread, a big wool needle, and a regular size needle, lots of stuffing, yarn, and a grown-up. The first step, Charidy, is to stuff the sock. So stuff this part really full, and then this part is going to be the legs, so it doesn't need to be as full.
You have a finished one over here.
I do. So then, Charidy, what I did was I sewed up the legs, up, around, and back down, leaving a little bit of space in between, because what I'm going to do then is cut up. So now the whole thing turns into 2 legs.
So you're just going to cut all the way in between these 2 seams so that there's a leg here and a leg here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Make sure you have a really sharp pair of scissors and a grown-up to cut for you. It's dangerous. So all of your stuffing is showing, and that's ugly. But don't worry, because I'm going to turn up the ends of the socks so it hides all that, and now he has proper stripy legs. So now we just have to sew the legs closed at the bottom.
And you can do all of this by hand, right?
Yes, you absolutely can. I looped it through underneath and up and back through again so his feet aren't so square. So the next step, Charidy, is to make out of your second sock arms, ears, and a tail. So for the arms, all I did was use this stripy bit, so his arms are stripy too, and cut that in half.
So you've cut the very end of this sock off, and then you've cut that piece into 2.
So now you take these 2 pieces and sew the bottom and the side. So here's the finished arm that I will stuff.
So you turn it inside out?
I did, just because the sewing bit was a bit ugly.
Okay.
Here are my 2 finished stuffed arms that I'm going to sew on the body, just about halfway between the head and the bum. Make sure the other arm lines up. Now he has arms.
So what did you do to make Horsey's face go down a bit?
What I did is I just grabbed the bottom of the stripy bit, and I just picked kind of a spot on his chest, and I held it down to make sure that he's looking at me properly instead of looking into the sky.
Okay, because we want him to look at you.
Exactly. And I just sewed it together. Just a few really easy big stitches and cut.
So now he looks like he can actually sit down.
Great.
Look at that. Amazing. So Horsey's looking pretty good, but I think he needs a face.
I think you're right. Okay, let's do eyes first. Big blue eyes. I just picked a little bit above the white part.
Okay, so this is his muzzle, his nose.
Exactly.
Okay, so now he has eyes.
He has eyes and he can see, but he can't breathe yet, so he needs nostrils.
So 2 buttons for nostrils. So you're doing the same thing with the nostril buttons, and you're just choosing right at the very edge of the muzzle part?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right. Our next step is to use the rest of the sock to make ears and a tail. So I just cut the corners of the sock to make the ears. And the tail you can make as long as you want. So I cut his ears from the corners, and there they are, and the tail I made as long as I wanted from the side. So I sewed the ears on both sides, and I sewed the tail on one end and up the side.
So you sewed this end of the tail, and then you sewed all along the side of the tail here, leaving this part open.
Right.
The ears, you folded them over and sewed along here, and then the end.
Right.
Okay.
And I'll just choose closer to the top of his head than the side.
Jessica, what's next?
We need to put the tail together.
Okay. What do we do for that? So we've got that piece.
Exactly. And I sewed a little bit of hair on the end of the tail. So using my black wool and the big wool needle, I'll just sew it all together. I just made big loops without pulling them through, because then you can just cut the loops in half. So just tying the ends together to hold them on and give them a bit of a haircut. And there's the tail. So now we have to sew the tail onto his bum.
So the same big loops that you've done with everything else.
Exactly. The tail's on, Horsey needs a mane. So I took a long piece of wool and doubled it up.
Okay. Okay, so you've thread the special knitting needle.
Yes.
With all of the yarn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm gonna loop it around my thumb and just make big loops like I did with the tail.
Okay, and you can make this as long as you want.
Exactly. So down to the back and back up around the other side. Okay, so then I'm just gonna tie this end that I just cut from the needle.
And just tie a knot with those two pieces of yarn. Okay.
And with all the loops, I'm just gonna cut them down the middle.
Okay.
And just like I did with the tail, I'm just going to tie pieces together. So now I'm going to give him a little bit more hair in a different color wool.
Okay, so you put it on the same needle?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just going to do the same thing, looping it through.
And this time you just had it folded over once?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I gave him a bit of a haircut, and now he's super cute, and he's all finished.
He is super cute. So now what do you do?
Love him.